How would you like to know and love God well? It's easier than you may think, and no, it doesn't involve reading a ton of scripture. Rather, I want to talk with you about a book that was written for the average person. And I do mean for beginners and young Christians who really do not want to grab a systematic theology book intro, no matter how well written it was, and think they're going to know. And I would know. Rather, this book that I'm going to talk with you about was written for the average person like you and me, especially back in the 90s when I could have used something like this at that time. What book? I'm dragging it out for a very specific reason. It's called You Are a Theologian. And it was, and yeah, it sounds a little, it definitely evoked a really reaction for me, and I checked into it. I think you'll want to learn more as we go along in this video. But first, my name is Barry. I'd like to welcome you to Christianity Explained, where we typically will do book reviews, basic Bible teaching, and I'll talk with friends that I know about Christian culture and what's happening. Now, and I would appreciate it if you like this content, put a like, and perhaps subscribe so that way you'll know when I upload new videos. Now let's move on to the actual book review. You Are a Theologian was written by Jen Wilkins and J.T. English. They do have a working relationship on a podcast called Knowing Faith that you can find on Spotify. Sorry, they don't seem to have a YouTube channel, but Jen is a part of Village Church, and JT is in Stony Brook. When I looked into story time, I forgot the name of the church, but suffice to say, when I did some digging, I wanted to get an idea of what their background is. JT, I could see, is a Baptist. And no, he didn't go full-blown Calvin. I'll explain that rhetoric later. As for Jen, I'm guessing she's Armenian. I'm not sure. But they are both conservative in their theology and both complementarian types. That is, men and women share equal status before God, but we each have different roles in the church. And I'm glad to see that Jen was stepping up to the plate because she had a track record of writing theology-related books directed at women. In this case, they got together to write a plain English book that is designed to help you know the basic theology about Christianity and knowing who God is and what his attributes are, the Bible, and so forth. It really is English, plain English. It's the kind of book I would have read back in the 90s and said like, wow, okay. And I couldn't help because I reviewed Systematic Theology by Wayne Grudem on this channel a while ago. I'll have a link to that in the end, at the end of the video. Now, what's the difference? Well, let's put it this way. When I was in Phoenix, I would not walk in to Professor, and Wayne really is a professor at Phoenix Seminary, and say, Professor Wayne, how's this for a theology book namely your theologian, for his class. I'm sure the gentleman would with smile and very kindly say, Barry, that's good if you just want to know the basic. That's it's not going to cut it uh, in this class. And he wrote a very easy to understand introduction uh, to systematic theology book that was designed for beginning seminary or people who just want to get an in-depth understanding of the faith in an overall sense. This book that I'm sharing with you, talking to you about, isn't written for that audience, for the ones who want the in-depth. It's really for the person who just came to faith. You don't want to get overwhelmed with all kinds of data that will do you no good. It's written in a tone of humility and grace. And there's one part where, when I was looking up what they were communicating about sin, it was very much right on point. Now, here's why I mentioned the Calvinist line. If you don't know, Calvin is known for a certain key component. He was a strong advocate for original sin, and people later on came back and said, oh yeah, original sin, that's total depravity. And my objection was more like, I think that's going a little too far. And yet, I happen to agree with original sin. But whoa, English, what did he do? Here, it's not what you think it is. It's over here. And explain, no, yes, you, as a human being, do have the ability to do some good, but it's contaminated by sin. He explained it. Oh, that's what it's about. Oh, so that's what he's talking about. Thanks for putting in English, JT English, something Mr. Theologian extraordinaire couldn't say in English. Thank you for that. But thinking that and act like a human being. And I'm wisecracking about a gentleman who actually is a theologian. He just recognized, oh, okay, I need to talk with people at their level, not mine. Thank you, JT. And I appreciate listening to your voice saying that. And yet, there is an audio narration for those of us who prefer listening. Mm-hmm. And yes, it's also available in paperback and hard for those who insist on the printed. I would like to take a minute or so to show you the contents of this book. This is coming from my Kindle app on my desktop. As you can see, he broke it down to easy items. So if you wanted to learn in easy English what God is like, you can just go right to that chapter and you could learn in easy to follow English what is. After all, who doesn't? Nice. Oh, very real. I'm looking at the text. I never looked at the chapter, and this is obviously a good example of what you would find. Very easy to follow and very relatable text, rather than saying, "Okay, you're a seminary student. Just this," and like I told, very user friendly, easy to follow. Great. The idea is to make learning about God and learning His Word and all that less intimidating for the beginner. And let's face it, it can be. And I, for one, appreciate the effort that they made. If you're new to this channel, there's something you should know. One, I'm not a Baptist or a Reformed type Christian. I'm more of, I guess you could say, Pentecostal assembly or charismatic. That, and plus, I'm what typically is called an Arminian. That is, I believe there is an element of free will, free choice. God does not have me walking around like a zombie. Oh, gosh. But that's just the first part. There's something else. This book, if you're wondering if I have any issues, well, let's put it this way. If I was a Bible thumper, I would not like this book. There's not enough scripture. How dare you not do that? No, this was written for the average Christian who just want to have a general understanding of what the basic component of Christianity is. These are the people who do not know anything about Christianity 101. That's who it's written for. It's not written for the Bible thumper and all that. That's why I made a point that this book would not be a good choice for seminary students. If you want a good seminary, I mentioned earlier, I did a review and you'll at systematic theology from Wayne Grudem. Now, I would definitely hope you are enjoying and will find it. Because both JT and Jen did a beautiful job keeping this in plain English, very accessible, and easy to understand for you. I would also encourage you to pray. Ask the Lord for insight in what they're saying, and ask Him to help you understand. Yes, it's easy, accessible, but I still want to encourage you to pray. And yes, they do put some scriptures in, but they're trying to keep it easy. All right, enough is enough. Hope this video is of value, and trust you have a blessed day. See ya when I see ya.